In other news now, well, border control has been a key weakness for South Africa for years now. The Border Management Authority is a new entity that's been formed to deal with the inefficiencies and lack of capacity experienced on our porous borders. The festive season is one of those crucial times where we'll see an influx of movement across the land borders, particularly as people go home or to holiday destinations like neighboring Zimbabwe, Lesotho and Mozambique. Let's speak now to the newly appointed head of this new body, Nakampe Masiapato, about their festive season plans in particular, but generally about what the authority is planning to do to improve border controls. Mr. Masiapato, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. Festive plans, I guess by now they are all in place. What can you tell us? What are you going to be doing differently to support the other law enforcement agencies like the police, the defense force, immigration and customs officials on our borders?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Mr. Moyani, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come and reflect on the work of the Border Management Authority. Maybe just to reflect on the question that you had asked. Firstly, we have started already, early in November to put together our festive season operational plans. Up to this point, I can confirm that our plans basically is divided into three parts. We basically had the planning part. We then had the execution part, which is where we are now, basically executing the plan as it were. And of course, the last part being the close up of the plan, which is going to be done on the 10th of January, 2022. But maybe in terms of directly as to what is it that we're going to be doing, as the Border Management Authority, we are effectively to take over all the activities when it comes to border management in the country. It's just that we are now in the transitional phase, and therefore our role for now is to coordinate the work that is being done in the border environment. And this time around, we are making sure that we have engaged with all of the various stakeholders to make sure that there's not going to be much of a challenge, particularly when it comes to, I would say, the traffic in the environment. All of the stakeholders had fairly been engaged, and I would say it's all systems go. We are going to be on the ground, including myself and the other deputy commissioners during the course of this week and next week in making sure that everything goes according to plan.
Okay, when we talk borders, headline making borders are Beitbridge onto Zimbabwe, Libombo onto Mozambique. Are there particular border hotspots for you? Yeah, so indeed, when you look into our ports of entry, I would say, as you have said, our biggest port of entry is Beitbridge. And of course, the second one being the Lubombo, the one that leads to Mozambique. And then I would say Maseru Bridge, the one leading to Lesotho, as well as Fiesbeck, also leading to Lesotho, together with Oshuk border post leading to Swaziland. So indeed, these are our, I would say, the top 5 border posts that are going to be very much busy, as it were. But in terms of the actual hotspots, our biggest worry in any event, in terms of this ports of entry, as it were, is instances where people effectively avoid using the actual port of entry and basically go into the vulnerable segments of the borderline. So that is our biggest concern. But this time around, of course, we are going to be deploying our Immigration Inspectorate together with the police officers as well as members of the SNDF to make sure that people don't use the borderline as it were, and they do actually go to the actual port of entry itself. And we have all systems actually to make sure that we are going to avoid any congestion in terms of the peoples on the queues. All our port health officials are ready in terms of the screening activities, and of course the immigration officials are ready in terms of making sure that everybody pass through with the relevant documentation as they're supposed to. Now, Dr. Masiapato, just to clarify, because I mean the Border Management Authority is fairly new. You've mentioned a number of stakeholders already, some role players. You've mentioned the police, you've mentioned the defense force, you've mentioned immigration. The Border Authority's mandate at the moment in transition
does it include these entities reporting to you? Are you the main guy? Are you the boss of coordination at the borders? Do they take orders from you or steal from their various heads?
Yeah, maybe, Mr. Moyane, one can just maybe use this opportunity to really clarify this particular key question that you had asked. So during next year, what is going to be happening is that all of these various stakeholders that are currently in the port environment, except for customs, for instance, the colleagues that are doing health-related work, that particular work is going to be seeded into the Border Management Authority. The colleagues doing work in terms of agriculture, the checking in of the in and out of plants, they're also going to come through into the Border Management Authority, including the work that is being done by the police in terms of access control. All of that work, including immigration, will then come through into Border Management Authority. And of course, from next year, when we are already established fully, all of them will definitely be reporting to us as the Border Management Authority. But in the interim, they are still operating as multi-agencies. We are just coordinating them because we are in this transition.
And you have cooperation, because cooperation will be important for you to execute on your plans currently that you are going to be closing up on the 10th of January.
Yeah, no, indeed, Mr. Moyane. Currently, given this coordination responsibility we have been given, we are indeed having full cooperation, primarily because at each and every port of entry, there is what we call Port Management Committee, which is consisting of these various stakeholders, and their activities are reported to us through what we call the National Border Management Coordinating Committee, and that is the current system that we are using. And all of them are indeed cooperating with us because we are still serving the same national interest. And therefore, in as much as they are having different commanders as of the current, but we are still given the authority to coordinate them, and they are indeed cooperating up to this point.
Okay, I would love to chat with you after the 10th of January to see how successful you've been. It's a very important transition. I mean, our borders have been very porous and giving a lot of headaches on various fronts. And hopefully, Dr. Nakampe Masiapato, you'll make time for us after the 10th of January so we can delve a little bit deeper into the incoming, let's call it that for now, Border Management Authority as you take over some of those key areas that have got touch points for our borders. Thank you very much for your time here, just giving us some details about your festive plans currently.